I have been picking peaches off the tree, and that means it is peach season. So I have been eating them, I have been baking with them, but what else do I want to do? I want to preserve some, just like you might want to, so I can enjoy that fresh flavor in the middle of winter. Believe me, it is the best. The easiest way to do it is jam. We're gonna make jam today with pectin. Super easy. I want to take you through every step so you can feel just as confident as I am here. We're gonna do it together so you can have some too. Let's go. Peaches come in all forms, right? As in, there are different types of peaches. Also, sometimes they go really quickly. We buy them in a grocery store. They look perfect when we buy them. In a day or two, they can get a bad spot. They can get a brown spot. Let me see if I can find one. Or if you pick them from a tree like I do, they can get spots like this. I always want people to know, fruit, vegetables, they're not always perfect and they don't need to be. Don't think you can only use one that looks like a picture. This might be the one you want to enjoy fresh and just to eat, but the ones that have bad spots or bruises are just as good, sometimes have just as much, if not more flavor, and they're great to use on things like jam. So what we're going to do is start by getting all the peaches ready. To do that, I want to pair them all. So it's really whatever works best for you. You can, just like you can with tomatoes, you can put an X in the bottom of a peach, put it in boiling water, plunge it into ice water. You can also, when they're really ripe, like these are super ripe because I picked these here in the last few days off the tree. Look at that. Do you notice how too, I always make sure when I plant peaches or if I'm gonna buy them, that they're free stone and they're not cling peaches. Cling peaches means that pit in the center clings to the peach and is very hard to get off. So when they're really ripe, they can start wrinkling on the skin, which is good, and you can usually just pull off pieces of skin like that. So that's why I'm not too worried about having to plunge them into hot water. If you feel like they're a little underripe, that's when you'd want to do that, but you don't want to can or make jam with underripe peaches. So when there's a bad spot, I am purposely choosing this so you can see that I am not going to throw away something that has a bruise. What we're going to do instead is we're going to cut that out. So especially if it had a bug that ate on it, these are washed, but you still have those bad spots. We're just going to cut out any of the bruising. This is also true if you would can these just for canned peaches. You know, on my website, I have how to can peaches. I have how to make peach butter, which is a different type of preserve. But then what I'm gonna do is I am just going to chunk these up. So this is a jam with pectin, meaning you're gonna have pieces of fruit in it. So if you kind of just like chop them up like this, they're gonna break down as they're cooking a little bit, but I still like to get them more in a manageable size, and that's how we measure them properly too. When we're working with pectin, but anything with canning, it's best to have everything measured very exactly. You don't want to deviate from a recipe when you're working with something like pectin because it is formulated. I'm using boxed pectin. This is formulated for this amount of pectin, and you don't want to change anything up. So with this, you're going to first put a little bit of sugar from the amount we're going to use. We're using this total amount of sugar. Now I am using what is called low sugar pectin. You're probably thinking like, okay, that doesn't look like a low sugar amount. It is. Traditional recipes even take more. And you can buy traditional sugar, which is a yellow box, or low sugar, which is always this pink box. There's recipes I have on my site that don't use pectin. It's just kind of whatever a personal preference is. What I do like about pectin is it gives you the exact results every time, no question, as long as you follow the recipe. So sugar and pectin together. And now I have, of course, my peaches that we measured very well. We're gonna put them right in here. Look, I mean, these taste, by the way, they're from my home tree, but when they are in season, when they are ripe, they just taste so good. We put a very small amount of butter in. That just helps keep the foaming down, and you don't want to can or preserve that foam. That can be not safe for canning. So we're gonna take lemon, a little bit of lemon. It actually helps the pectin, but it also just wakes up the flavors. And again, in some recipes, you see me, I don't always measure something like lemon, but in a recipe like this, I definitely want to, because it can be very variable. You want to know exactly how much you're putting in. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'm going to put in my little sugar and pectin mixed together. We're gonna reserve the rest of our sugar. We will be adding it. So at first I just wanna right here stir this together. Make sure I'm kind of dissolving that sugar and pectin, stirring it all together, and you can see pretty quickly, it becomes kind of thick. That's exactly what you want. Whenever you're canning, you want to have everything ready beforehand. You don't want to be caught and be ready with one thing and not ready with the other. So my jars are sterilized, my water bath is ready to go. I'm bringing this over and I'm going to bring it to a rolling boil. That just means it's a boil that can't be stirred down. It can't be stopped when you're stirring it. So it takes a few minutes, but we're going to let it come to a rolling boil, then we add the sugar. I always want to show you what is not a rolling boil, because it can be confusing. What's a rolling boil? So when it starts boiling around the edges, and you can see it's nice and bubbly, when you stir it, it stops a little bit until it comes back. That's not a rolling boil. A rolling boil will be when you're stirring it, it won't stop boiling, it just continues. So we still have a minute or two here before it gets to that full rolling boil, and that is essential. That means it gets to the correct temperature. So now as I'm stirring, it doesn't stop boiling. That's a rolling boil. So every time I'm stirring, it's just continuing to boil throughout. That means we're at that rolling boil. So we add the rest of our sugar. We're gonna pour it right in, all the sugar. We're gonna keep stirring it and let it come back to a rolling boil. This will reduce the temperature a little bit so it won't boil right away. Then once it comes back to a rolling boil, I time it for 1 minute, that's it, and then we're ready to jar it up. It's at a rolling boil, so I'm timing it for 1 minute. That means as I'm stirring it, it does not stop boiling. 1 minute, and then that's all done, and we're done with this cooking component, which is really nice. When it's done cooking, you can just bring it over, and this is why I said you want everything prepared. Because now that this is done, you want to be able to put it into your hot sterilized jars, follow manufacturer instructions for lids, rings, jars, everything you're preparing. I always think it's better to have the right tools. A good funnel that can stick right in, it just keeps it cleaner. You notice I do always put it on a rack with a baking sheet under it too. Again, it's just to help spills, especially if you're working with something that stains. So at first you're gonna think this jam looks really thin. It's hot. Always remember when any jam, any different style of jam is hot, it's thin. As it cools off, it thickens. So you could even, if you want to, with the Pectin method, as long as you follow the recipe, it should always work. But you can put a plate in the freezer, make sure it's well chilled, and then you can put a little bit of this on it to quickly cool it to see the thickness. But this, you don't play with once it's done. It's Pectin, you're good to go. So that's why I'm just filling the jars, leaving headspace at the top, super essential for safe canning. So I'm just going through with my ladle, putting them right in, leaving the headspace, and then we'll clean them off and put lids on. Once you're all filled up, you always want to take clean, either paper towel, dishcloth, whatever, and hot water. Just make sure you wipe the tops to make sure they have no contaminants, any sticky sugars, because that could inhibit a good seal. So we are obviously canning these. You could put it just in the fridge if you want to use it in the next couple weeks, but canning it's going to make it shelf stable. Great gifts at Christmas, just to use all through the winter. I love that. And then lids and rings ready. So I'm putting these right on. If you want to, you can line them up with the little label thing at the front. You don't have to. I don't often, but sometimes when I'm in the mood, I care more and I make sure they're on kind of in the correct way. So we're just getting them out from their hot water, which, you know what? Always follow manufacturer instructions on that. I grew up always putting them in hot water, so I always do still. I think they say to again. For a while they had taken that away, but I think it just makes the best seal. So I'm putting on my rings to fingertip tightness. What that means is you don't put your whole strength of your arm into it because that could buckle the lid. You do it though until you kind of can feel it stop, and that's how you know it's fingertip. It doesn't have to be quite as tight as you think to create a good seal. And then once they're done, you always want to make sure you check if it's a good seal after they fully cooled, which we'll talk about. So once they're all on, fingertip tightness, I love that, so easy. Canning is easy and it's fun. You're preserving something delicious to use later on in the season when you won't have it. We're gonna put them right into our boiling water bath. That's why, again, you wanna have everything ready. We're gonna start just putting them in. It has a rack fitted into it, so it's a water bath canner with a rack in the bottom because glass jars cannot sit directly on the bottom. We're gonna make sure they're covered by an inch of water, bring it to a boil, and then time it. What's great about jams, they have such a short canning time once they're in the water bath because it's so simple. The high amount of sugar makes it a very easy and safe kind of foolproof canning method. And so that's what makes it so nice to do, especially if you're not used to canning. Jam is the way to go. And it's really one of those things that everyone can find a use and a way to use jam. You know, even if you're saying, well, I don't have jam every morning for breakfast. Of course you don't. But think about buying yogurt that doesn't have sugar and putting jam on it. Think about making really fun cocktails or different drinks, putting some of this in your iced tea. There's so many different things you can do with jam, desserts, but there's always a way to use it, and it is a great gift. So here I have a little bit that I can show you. Look how quickly, so in the few minutes this was in the canner, this is how it thickened up already without even being fully chilled. So see how it's that gorgeous, perfect consistency? Kind of, I always think I equate Pectin recipes like this to what you're used to maybe in a grocery store jam if you buy your jams from there. So it gives you kind of that perfect consistency that we're maybe more used to every time. Gives you beautiful pieces of fruit in there. Honestly, the best part, it truly tastes like the freshest, most beautiful peach off of a tree. It's delicious. It's exactly what you want in a fruit spread. It has the forward flavor of fruit. It's sweet. It works really well then with other things. Think of using this as a really good brush or a glaze on some pork or something really delicious in like a grilled meat or a nice roast. So many uses. Did you hear that? That little ping was the sound of a lid fully escaping all of the air that was inside of the jar and being a safe seal. So what I let these do now is for the next 12 to 24 hours, let them cool fully to room temperature. Don't touch the lids. Don't sit there and ping on them. Don't do anything. Let them fully seal on their own. What you notice is they start pulling in, and you see that little divot, and then you'll hear that pop, and that's when that divot goes down, all the air is pushed out, and it's a seal. After 12 to 24 hours, I remove the ring. You wanna check the seal. You don't want a false seal. Remove the ring, and I store them without rings. Another one, music to a canner's ears. And you can store them with the rings on, but you always wanna check it first. Remove it, check the seal. If one happens to not seal, put it in the fridge. Use it just as you would jam in the next few weeks. So here we now have beautiful jam, really simple, and I hope you see how simple this is. If I can do this, anybody can do this in your kitchen at home. Get people together, do it with friends, that's the best part. Share this recipe and method around so other people can see how easy it is, maybe be inspired to do it too. And as always, check my website, wyseguide.com, for all the instructions, the recipe, the videos, everything is housed on my website for all the different fruits, all the different methods, so you can make delicious jam time and time again. Enjoy. I love that sound.